Welcome to Waz on Wire. Today we're talking about that recent statement, an apology actually, from Hafez. He's an assemblyman with the Pan-Malaysian Islamic Party.
Ah, yes. Regarding the incident with the Sultan of Perak.
Exactly. It all kicked off pretty fast online.
It really did.
Hmm.
And it's become quite a case study in how information and maybe misinformation spreads, especially, when it involves public safety and figures like the Sultan.
Definitely. So let's break it down. We have this assemblyman, Hafez, putting out a public apology, but also lodging a police report. What actually happened to start all this?
Okay, so the initial event involved a woman who tried to approach the Sultan of Perak,
Right, which immediately sounds like a security concern.
a major one. From the perspective of the royal household, absolutely. Now, later on, it came out that the woman was understood to be mentally unstable.
Ah, okay. That adds another layer.
It does. But in that first moment, the immediate reaction, certainly from Hafiz's viewpoint, was about security, a potential breach. He even called it a significant security loophole.
You have to remember the Sultan's role here, too. It's not just personal safety, it's symbolic.
Precisely. It touches on national unity, respect for the institution. Any perceived threat resonates deeply. So naturally, questions about security protocols would arise instantly.
Understood. So, serious situation. And Hafez, being an assemblyman, he took to social media.
He did. He shared information about the incident quite quickly on his Facebook page.
And in that very first post, the crucial detail, or what became the crucial detail, was that he identified the woman involved as Chinese.
That's correct. That was in the initial post.
Okay, so what was his explanation for putting that detail out there so fast?
Well, he's been quite vocal about this. His explanation is that he received some preliminary information, sort of initial reports, that indicated the woman was Chinese.
Okay.
And he says his reaction, his immediate post, came from a place of genuine worry, fear even for the Sultan's safety.
So for him, it wasn't about race at that point.
According to Hafez, no. He insists it was purely about highlighting this security loophole he perceived. He felt it needed urgent attention, needed fixing. He saw it as his duty, maybe, to raise the alarm using the info he had at that moment.
Right, the focus being on the security aspect.
That's what he maintains. Securing the Sultan was the goal, and the details he had were just part of describing the situation as he understood it then.
Okay, but this is where it gets complicated, moving from, like you said, a security incident into the whole online information sphere. Because he did realize the information was wrong, didn't he?
Yes, and quite quickly, according to his account, he clarified that just minutes after that first post went up, he found out the information about the woman's ethnicity was incorrect.
So he corrected it.
He says he did. He updated the original post immediately with the accurate details.
But that wasn't the end of it. What happened next is really the core of the controversy, isn't it?
Exactly. This is where Hafez makes a direct accusation. He claims that irresponsible individuals took a screenshot of his original post.
The one with the incorrect information, before the correction.
Precisely. The uncorrected version. And he alleges they deliberately spread that specific screenshot.
Why would they do that, according to him?
His claim is that their motive was malicious, to essentially create a false narrative, to ignore his correction, and specifically to, in his words, stir up racial issues.
So he's saying they weaponized his initial mistake, even though he fixed it minutes later.
That's his firm position. He believes they intentionally circulated the outdated info to make it seem like his focus was race, when he insists it was always security, exploiting an error basically for divisive aims.
But you can see how, in Malaysia's context, any mention of race, even if quickly retracted, can be sensitive, right? Regardless of the original intent.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the tightrope public figures walk online. Hafez has strongly reiterated that his main concern, his only concern, he says, was strengthening security for the Sultan. It didn't matter who the individual was, race was irrelevant to the security point he was trying to make.
So he sees the sharing of the old screenshot as a deliberate twisting of his words.
Yes, a complete misrepresentation. He feels they took his genuine, albeit initially flawed, security concern and warped it into something designed to provoke racial friction.
He used strong language, too, didn't he? Accusing them of malice. What exactly did he imply by that?
Yeah, malice is a strong word.
Yeah.
He essentially argued that these individuals must have known about the correction, given how quickly he says he made it just minutes later.
So ignoring the correction was intentional, in his view.
That's his argument, that they deliberately chose to ignore the updated correct information and push the old inaccurate screenshot instead. He sees this as an attempt to, as he put it, play with emotions.
And the bigger goal.
He believes the ultimate goal was far more serious, to divide Malaysian racial unity, to sow discord between communities by using his quickly fixed mistake as fuel. He frames it as a calculated act, not just carelessness.
Wow. So taking a momentary error and blowing it up into something much bigger, much more divisive.
That's precisely Hafiz's perspective on what happened after his correction, weaponizing that screenshot as he sees it.
This whole thing really does show how fast things can spin out of control online. So Hafiz acknowledges his initial mistake, but then he's faced with what he calls manipulation. What did he do next?
Well, first, he did publicly apologize for the initial error. He owned the mistake in the first post, saying, no one is perfect, and expressing regret.
Okay, so an apology for the mistake itself.
Nice. But then he took another step. He lodged a police report.
Against whom?
Specifically against the people he claims were maliciously circulating the outdated screenshot.
Yes.
The ones twisting the narrative, as he describes it.
So he's essentially saying, I made a mistake, I fixed it, I apologize for it, but these other people are now deliberately spreading the old mistake with bad intent, and that needs to be investigated.
That sums up his position, yes. He drew a clear line between his error, which he corrected and apologized for, and what he views as the subsequent malicious actions of others.
Thinking about our local context here in Malaysia, what does an incident like this really tell us about public figures, online communication, sensitive topics?
It's quite telling, I think. There are a few key things for all of us to consider. First, it really hammers home how vital swift correction is, especially for public figures. But it also shows the limits of that correction.
How so?
Well, once something is out there online, even for minutes, it can be captured, screenshotted, and controlling its spread after the fact is incredibly difficult, almost impossible. The digital world remembers the first version, sometimes more than the correction.
Sure, the original can keep circulating.
Exactly. Second, it highlights the potential for deliberate misrepresentation. How easily information, even an honest mistake that's been fixed, can be, weaponized, especially on sensitive fault lines like race.
And Hafiz's narrative really leans into the intent behind spreading the info being malicious.
Yes. He puts the focus squarely on the alleged malice of those circulating the old screenshot. His story is a reminder for everyone, really, to be critical consumers of information. Always question the source. Look for updates or corrections, especially on hot-button issues. Don't just react to the first thing you see.
Yeah, context is everything. Check if there's a follow-up statement or a correction.
Absolutely. It's about understanding the full picture, not just reacting to one potentially outdated snapshot.
There's definitely a lot to chew on there. How quickly things escalate, the difference between intent and impact. It's messy.
It really is.
And it leaves us with a pretty tough question, doesn't it? In this age where a screenshot can travel the world in seconds, and let's be honest, anxieties can be easily stoked, where does the responsibility really lie? With the person who made the initial slip-up, even if they fixed it? Or with those who consciously choose to amplify the outdated version? It's something we all grapple with in this digital space.
A very critical question for our times. Understanding the dynamics, the motivations, the speed. It's vital.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.